أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم صلوات بج محمد وآل محمد. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic that I was given to speak is how Imam Hussain rose above hate. But before I get to that, as being the resident scholar here in Masjid Ali, I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Qiyam Amn and Stand with Dignity to this annual event of Imam Hussain Day. I chose this ayat from Surah Fussilat, verse number 34, which says, virtue and evil are not equal. If you replace evil habits by virtuous ones, you will certainly find that your enemies will become your intimate friends. Now there's a lot that could be discussed under this ayat of Quran, which promotes love, peace, and compassion. But in order to understand the topic that I was given, we need to also explore the concept of hate. It's not something which requires, in-depth analysis, but it's still sometimes we have misunderstanding of these words. Much like love, hate or hatred is often blind, making human beings prone to believe things that are simply not true. Sadly, too many of us fall victim to this reality, resulting in feelings of animosity and prejudice with little or nothing to back it up. This blind hatred often has to do with race, religion, gender, or politics. As such, it has wreaked havoc on the world for centuries and will probably continue to do so for many, many more years. Here are some examples of the different ways hate manifests itself. Firstly, racism. Racism is characterized by racial prejudice or discrimination. To narrow it down a bit, prejudice is defined by Merriam-Webster, an irrational attitude of hostility directed toward an individual, a group, a race, or their supposed characteristics. Quran states in Surah Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. Among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth and the difference of your languages and colors. According to author Michael Shermer, who wrote The Science of Good and Evil, if all humans had the same skin color, we would find a new way to divide ourselves in groups and perpetuate one of us or one of them habit. Religious and politically based hatred. Number two. If you need further proof that humans don't require differing skin colors to find fault with each other, simply look at the many religious and political wars that have occurred throughout history. To give an example, Protestants and Catholics, members of two religions that promote peace and love, have fought bloody wars. Terrorist attacks are almost always related to political arguments, religious disagreements, or both. Religious and politically motivated atrocities have traditionally been inspired by greed, envy, and fear, hence the term hate crime. Many in history couldn't comprehend Imam Hussein's mission, that's why they questioned his rise against Yazid's allegiance. Imam responded simply by saying in that famous quote, in that famous speech, in that famous sermon, إِنِّي لَمْ أَخْرُجْ أَشِرًا وَلَا بَطِرًا ولا مفسدا ولا ظالما إنما خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمة جدي أريد أن آمر بالمعروف وأنهى عن المنكر وأسير بسيرة جدي وأبي علي بن أبي طالب فمن قبلني بقبول الحق فالله أولى بالحق ومن رد علي هذا أصبر حتى يقضي الله بيني وبين القوم بالحق. You heard the first part of it quite a bit, does not even need translating. But for those who don't understand, Imam said the purpose behind my rise is not to spread evil, not to brag and boast about anything that I possess, not to cause corruption in the society, and not to promote injustice or dhulm. Rather, the only sole purpose of my khuruj and my rise is what? Reform and islah in the ummah of my grandfather. All I want to do is perform enjoining of good and forbidding of evil. And also I want to be able to follow the seerah and the lifestyle of my grandfather as well as my father. And whoever accepts this haqq, this truth, and follows me, so be it. And whoever denies it, then I will have patience until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides between me and those individuals. This was a clear message that Imam gave when he was rising. So you understand the whole entirety what Imam ﷺ was trying to achieve. But here we look at the pyramid of hate in order to understand how Imam countered that hate. First level is bias, and we all can see ourselves in this. That the base of the pyramid is when our prejudice is expressed through jokes, criticisms, and expressions of bias. You know how simply things start out by joking around, by criticizing, by making these expressions here and there. It feels harmless, but quickly moves to the second level, which is individual acts of prejudice. Prejudice then turns into rejection. Right away they'll start rejecting that which you believe in. Third level is discrimination. The middle of the pyramid involves intentional discrimination. Fourth level is bias-motivated violence. This level is when discrimination becomes a social movement. Masses, most of the times encouraged by leaders, attack properties, holy places, or groups. I don't need to give any examples, which are all apparent to us. When a society gets to level 4, things are getting out of hand. That's when the danger of letting hate become something normal, or normalizing hate. Fifth level, which is the last, is called genocide. As defined by the United Nations in 1948, means acts committed with intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. It includes both physical and mental harm. It began harmlessly with bias, which led to genocide. Now you can put 2 and 2 together. We see that when Imam ﷺ was standing, وَلَمَّا قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُهُ وَأَهْلُ بَيْتِهِ وَلَمْ يَبْقَ أَحَدٌ عَزِمَ عَلَى لِقَاءِ اللَّهِ. When all of his companions were killed, and his family members were killed, and there was no one left, and Imam intended to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, تَوَجَّهَ نَحْوَ الْقَوْمِ. He looked toward these people, وَقَالَ, and he said to them, وَيْلَكُمْ عَلَى مَا تُقَاتِلُونِ فَبِمَا تَسْتَحِلُّونَ دَمِي. Why are you killing me? Why have you made my blood halal upon you? عَلَى حَقٍّ تَرَكْتُهُ أَمْ عَلَى شَرِيَّةٍ بَدَّلْتُهَا أَمْ عَلَى سُنَّةٍ غَيَّرْتُهَا. Have I taken someone's right? Have I changed the shariat? Have I altered the sunnah of the Holy Prophet? Have I done any of those things? That is the reason that you are standing in front of me. فَقَالُوا. They all responded. Look at the hate in the response that they gave. نُقَاتِلُكَ بُغْضًا مِنَّا لِأَبِيكَ. The reason we are fighting you is because of the bughd and the hate that we have for your father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the hate is وَمَا فَعَلَ بِأَشْيَاخِنَا يَوْمَ بَدْرٍ وَحُنَيْنٍ فَلَمَّا سَمِعَ كَلَامُهُمْ بَكَى. That what he did to our forefathers in the battle of Badr, in the battle of Hunain, بُغْضًا لِأَبِيكَ, the hatred that we have for your father is the reason that we are standing in front of you. Imam Hussain was able to understand his enemy and their corruption with what? With insight, good intention, and foresight, which awakened the mankind from a deep slumber that they were in. This feature of his bamboozled everyone, even the enemy, with all his hatred that they possessed. Just look at the incident when he took his 6-month-old Ali Azhar asking for water. This is probably the most difficult of the incidents in the entire atrocity and the calamity of Karbala. Yet we don't hear a pungent or immoral expression from Imam ﷺ. That he's carrying a 6-month-old, asking for a sip of water, yet he does not use one immoral sentence or expression to speak to these individuals. Rather, Imam used the method of exhorting and well-wishing for his enemy. Not only Imam, but his companions as well, were able to deal with the worst of their political enemies with dignity, honor, and face them with compassion. That's why Quran says, "Itfa billati hiya ahsanu sayyi'at, nahnu alamu bima yasifun." Surah Mu'minun, verse 96. Respond to the injustice done to you with the better deed. We know best what they attribute to God. Imam Hussain had all the intentions to save the people from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows that if they are going to go ahead and do this to me, they will not be spared. And their destiny is going to be the hellfire. For this reason, he chose the most severe conditions for himself and his family. That I'm willing to go through the difficulties so that I can safeguard or save humanity from going into this deep. Imam spoke gently and advised those who had intentions of severing his head. Those who intended to come and sever his head, even them, Imam is speaking to them gently. Seeking water, some riwayat mentioned that Imam was asking for water when he was by himself. He said, "Give me some water." Do you think Imam wants to quench his thirst? At that moment when all of his companions and family members have been killed and he's all by himself, and they have died and given their life without having quenched the thirst. You think Imam is seeking water to quench his own thirst when he's on the brink of shahadat himself? No. The philosophy behind asking for water at that last moment is actually giving them another opportunity to correct their attitude. Maybe they'll be saved from the hellfire. That's how Imam dealt with compassion. That's how he rose against hate that was presented to him. But when he saw that it's not possible to save them all from the wrath of the hereafter, he tried to lower their torment. Yes, but if I can save you, but then I'll go ahead and lower the torment that you're going to face. We see this especially in reference to a person by the name Harthama ibn Abi Muslim. When Imam's advice wasn't beneficial to him, Imam requested him to get away, far away from this land, so that he would not hear when Imam rises and raises the istaghasa, hal min nasir. He said, go so far away that my voice does not reach you, because if my voice reaches you, then you have to say labbaik to me. So then Imam is saving this person from the torment of the hereafter. I'll conclude. The similar event has appeared with the person by the name Ubaidullah Jofi. I'll conclude with this quote from Martin Luther King Jr. He says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Thank you very much for listening. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.